What's up, guys? The Mego3011 here with another. I went with my death battle intro just out of habit. This is not another death battle. This is in fact fan battle. And as you already heard from him laughing, as always, I'm joined by my great friend Minato.
This is one of my all-time most wanted.
Yeah, normally I do the intro here, like explain what we're reacting to, but Minato, why don't you take it this time? This is one of your favorites.
Okay, so this one was actually a request from my top 20 most wanted video. Someone pointed out, yeah, that this is one of my most wanted matchups. It'd actually probably be higher on the list if I reordered that.
So yeah, this is
In hindsight, no, it wouldn't, but only because another matchup recently fell under my radar that I've been liking a lot more lately. Like, it's potentially my new favorite matchup ever. Potentially, I'm not sure yet. I have extreme Umineko brain rot.
Well, yes.
I really want to see Beatrice versus the princess after I finish Umineko and slay the princess.
Gotta love when a new matchup just appears out of nowhere and steals your heart. But yes, so today is Cell versus Metal Sonic, and all my exposure through this has been through Minato. And I remember, like, this was like a story because the most popular matchup used to be Cell versus, like, wasn't it like, what, Dark Samus, Super Scroll or something?
It's swapped a lot between Dark Samus and Super Scroll.
And, like, Minato and I had, like, no hope. But suddenly, just out of the woodworks, Metal Sonic comes in with a steel chair and instantly becomes the most popular matchup by far.
I think it probably had something to do with Moro.
Yeah, it absolutely had something to do with Moro.
But it was already gaining traction around that time, but after Bowser vs. Eggman came out, I think that was just the steel chair that Metal Sonic needed to hit Dark Samus and Super Scroll over the head as Cell's most popular.
And thank God it did, because this matchup is awesome.
I know. It's easily my favorite. I like the idea. I think there's so much cool stuff you can do with it. I like the setup you can have with Eggman realizing, wait a minute, I can't take over the world if Cell blows it up. Hey, Metal Sonic, go squash this bug for me.
Oh, it really does. But yeah, as mentioned, this is not Death Battle. This isn't even like a Fade series or like Riot Rumble or any of those. This is Fan Battle. I have never seen anything from them. Anything.
Oh, I'm surprised. I've seen a couple episodes of theirs, actually. Actually.
Yeah, I have not seen
I've seen
any. So.
Mandalorian versus Courier 6. I've seen Doomsday versus SCP-682. I saw the fight to Omni-Man versus Rose Quartz. I'm still on the comics, so I skipped the analysis because to dodge spoilers. I've seen... Oh, my personal favorite so far is Scarecrow versus Mysterio. That one's a really good one. I've seen Chaos versus Lord Vortek, I think his name was. And there's one more, at least. Oh, right, Steve versus Terrarium.
Well, depending how good this is, which I've heard good things, I might have to start reacting to a few more of these. So, yeah, this is going to be the first time reacting to Fan Battle. Without further ado, anything else to be said, Minato?
No, not really.
Then let's
get started.
All right. The following is a community-made fan work. Death Battle is owned by Ben Singer, Chad. Oh, well, I don't have time to read that. Oh, they have a Discord server.
It does go kind of fast. Feel free to pause during the fight if you need to.
Cell, Dr. Gyro's perfect evolving android. Metal Sonic, Dr. Eggman's ultimate adapting robot.
I like how they're doing the
These
impressions
two
as
artificial
well.
menaces act as a perfect reflection of the world around them, taking whatever's thrown at them and throwing it right back
No, I
in
respect
the name
it.
of
I respect
perfection.
it.
I'm pretty sure this is mostly one guy like fights. I mean, they're voice actors for the fights,
in a
but
not so distant future, the world
That's
lies
it.
in
That's
ruins.
really impressive.
All
honestly.
life eradicated and all nations burned away by the androids. And at the center of this burning mess was the ultimate android, the perfect creation
I hear
of
his
one
theme in the
Dr.
background
Gero,
already.
Cell. Or he was meant to be, but he wasn't perfect yet. You see, it was meant to be that he would absorb the other androids, assimilating them into himself to grow in power. Unfortunately, the last 2 androids he needed had been destroyed by the last great hero of Earth, Trunks. Not to worry though, because sneaky old Cell had a solution. Cell attacked and killed Trunks himself, and from there commandeered a time machine from the fallen hero, crossing time stream and entering into a new timeline. Before the world had fallen, and when the androids were
He's a pain in the ass and he makes us draw.
It's actually true.
Reverting into
There's a
just a
bro.
simple egg and forsaking
Hate
his
screen
purpose in
squares.
But
I'm pretty sure the reason
Cell lay dormant in this new timeline.
that superhero was 3D, not the usual animation style, was because of Cell Max.
Though,
That would
he's
make
still
sense,
worried
honestly.
there wouldn't be enough power. So he went around town to town, sloping up as many people as he could, absorbing all of their essence into himself.
The great
to get closer
suck.
and closer to perfection. The heroes of the world, the Z-Fighters, raced to stop him. But upon learning the truth of his nature, came face to face with the realization of what they were truly up against. Cell had the essence of some of the greatest warriors the galaxy had ever seen within him. Frieza, Piccolo, King Cole, Vegeta, and even Goku himself. In truth, Cell was created as the ultimate weapon by combining the, well, cells of these legends into the perfect warrior. Dr. Gero could not accomplish this creation in life, but in the future, his computer would succeed where he failed, and thus, Cell would be born. And he'd stop at nothing to get as much power as he could. Fight after fight, he'd stay one step ahead of the heroes, absorbing more and more power. It even got to the point where Cell absorbed one of the androids he came for, becoming semi-perfect. The other android, however, eluded him, and so Cell did what any reasonable villain would, and began nuking the world until they came out of hiding, sinking whole islands casually just to find them. This would culminate in a battle against Vegeta, in which Cell got completely dominated, until he managed to get his hands on the last android he needed, finally achieving true perfection and turning the tables. Vegeta and company couldn't even scratch Perfect Cell, and even the ultimate
Threatened the
attacks that
solar
blew chunks
system.
out of him were healed up in a second. You see, Cell has a special core nucleus located in his body. As long as that cell remains intact, he can reform his body fully from any damage. Anything short of complete and utter destruction won't stop him. Cell was so confident in his superiority that before destroying the world, he decided to give Earth 10 days to send their best warriors his way, just so he could beat them up and prove he was superior. And so, using his telekinesis, he carved an entire rock formation into an arena. Oh yeah, did we mention the telekinesis? Cell has all the capabilities of his
I
component.
swear, like every single
meaning
Dragon Ball
he can
character has
fly,
telekinesis, but like
teleport,
never
and
uses
fire
it.
energy attacks like the Kamehameha or
I
special
think only
beam.
Frieza has it
He even has
actually,
some special
as
abilities
far
of
as
his
I'm
own,
aware.
like being able to create Cell Juniors to fight for him.
He used
Or if
it
all else
to
fails,
launch
Cell
Krillin
destructs
into the
in a
air
fight.
to blow
It's no
him up.
surprise then that Cell easily dominated all his competition. Even Goku wasn't able to put him down. Keeping up with the Super Saiyan himself is impressive, given Goku's ki was able to cross the universe in under a minute, moving it over 17 quadrillion times the speed of light. And that was in base form, let alone with Super Saiyan. This all forwarded Cell's agenda to prove his absolute superiority, and to watch the world be consumed by the terror of his perfection. But these
Is that
repeated
Yamcha? Yep,
beatdowns
that's
of Goku
Yamcha.
and the Z-Fighters would enrage Goku's son, Goku, who would go toe-to-toe against Cell in the
Yamcha was
first
on
fight
the
of the
list.
android's life.
Wait, why was I on the list?
Hit so hard,
Time
one
entertainment.
of the androids and become scientific. First
God, I love that.
He'd attempt self-destruction, but would fortunately be teleported away by Goku at the last second. Unfortunately, the dude's so unkillable, he survived his own self-destruction. Especially bad, given Cell also had access to Saiyan Zenkai boosts, which increase his strength and speed anytime he's near death. And this counts toward that, letting him exponentially snowball anytime a kill shot against him fails to overcome his regeneration, even achieving a state similar to Super Saiyan. At this point, Cell wielded enough power to blow away the whole solar system, potentially galaxy, maybe even universe. Fortunately for everyone, in a final struggle against the Z Fighters, Cell would be overpowered once and for all, his own might not being enough to overcome the force he found himself up against. With a final Kamehameha, Gohan annihilated Cell once and for all, completely wiping him away with nothing to come back from. The day was saved, and the future with it. But that future was only
really like the
possible
format they're going with. They're telling the entire story while dropping the calculations in the middle of it.
Anything. Cell's perfection would reign supreme. While he may have been fated for ultimate defeat, it was not a fate.
Imagine feats that happen as happen in between the story.
Yeah, exactly.
To enjoy myself.
I really like that.
And of course, I enjoy nothing more than the looks of perfect terror my power inspires on people's faces. That's it. That's the look. So long, kid.
Sonic the Hedgehog, the fastest thing alive.
Ooh,
Defender
Metallic
of the
Madness.
helpless, hero of the
Nice.
natural world, and general do-gooder. Here to stop the nefarious Dr.
I thought it
Eggman.
sounded familiar. I normally listen to,
Slight
I don't
problem.
listen to like the
We are
remix
not
version.
here to talk about him. The good doctor, tired of being
one
thwarted
from,
time and again, thought enough was enough. and created
Sonic
an
Mania?
ultimate
Yeah,
weapon to
that
stop
one.
his foe.
I love that
A
one.
perfect mechanical
This one's the
replica
Back
made
to
in
Future
Sonic's
version, so it
image
does sound a
with
little
all
different
his
from,
potential. It wasn't
from
just a perfect
the
copy.
others.
No, it was
Yeah.
beyond perfection. Metal Sonic, as he'd be called, wouldn't just serve as a foil to Sonic. He would prove himself superior, and that he was the one who could truly bear the name.
Not Mechasonic, not
His
Mechasonic
mind
Mark II,
revealed
or
he was
Robosonic, or
obsolete.
Sonic.
Why are
Why
there so many of these guys?
And fought.
How many
Despite what
fucking
he thought,
robotic
he
pieces
knew
of Sonic are
he
there?
to come up one
Yes.
short of his biological counterpart. Failures that the Doctor wouldn't take kindly.
Hell, in the comics, there was a roboticized
Something
version of
Metal
Sonic.
finally broke. Being a pawn in the strings
That's
of
how
the
many.
Eggman
That's how
Empire
many Metal
that held
Sonics
him
there are.
he would sow them and take over the world himself. And so, after some upgrades and a bit of betrayal, Neo Metal Sonic was born. Neo Metal would get to work surgically
Honestly, reminds me
coordinating
that
his
I'm
forces,
remembering
making
that
his
one.
new liquid metal body to shapeshift into
Remember that old trend from a year or so back, where people were trying to grimace shake?
Oh, yeah.
That of Metal Sonic, and he goes, "Happy birthday to the famous character." And he tries to put it up to his mouth, but he doesn't have a mouth. He just blankly stares at it. It existential dread.
He should be leagues above his creator,
Amazing.
who was able to survive this massive black hole, equivalent to 380 kilofold worth of energy. And, unsurprisingly,
damn.
as a robot replica of Sonic, he's pretty dang fast as well. Even as early as his first outing, his flight could keep up with the Blue
Super Neo
Clone, who was capable of
form, Neo
running at
form,
the speed of
Overlord
light,
form.
And Metal's only gotten better since,
Super Neo
let
form.
alone with his Neo Metal upgrades. These same upgrades also let him protect the Black Shield, a virtually indestructible barrier around him. No surprise then that he got the Sonic heroes right where he wanted them, and with all their biodata in his possession, absorbed the entirety of Eggman's fleet to become the Metal Overlord, hell-bent on ruling the world with a literally iron fist. As the Overlord, Metal grew to titanic proportions, taking to the skies with colossal
This boss
wings
fight was
and
awesome in
defending
Shadow Generations, by the
He had
way.
a seemingly unending
Wait, this wasn't
supply of
Shadow
missiles,
Generations?
The ability to track
No, this is Sonic Heroes.
Could
In,
even use
it's
the
just
Chaos
Sonic
Control
Generations and
technique to
Shadow Generations
time. Though,
have you
with
fight
the power, let there be
all
chaos.
bosses from
Sonic
throughout the
then
series.
put Metal
I
down
see.
once again.
Metal
Blazing
Overlord was one of the
fast,
bosses in
with
Shadow's
disaster,
campaign.
You take it
I
all
see.
away with Sonic speed. Eggman, now back
Here
in
is
action,
Eggman
was
Empire,
understandably
the Mushroom Kingdom
and
invasion.
lobotomized Metal back into being a loyal servant to the Empire. He may eventually start treating
It's
Earth as
too
safe
late.
for children, but he wasn't quite there yet.
You're doing great.
So,
I'm
he would
doing
occasionally provide
everything.
Metal with the Neo upgrades once more to help serve him. And serve him it did, when Metal would eventually acquire the Chaos Emerald Superior,
Great
a Master
episode.
Emerald to himself, absorbing
My
its power
favorite.
to become Super Neo Metal Sonic. You can tell it's powerful because it has 3 adjectives. Even the normal Chaos Emeralds were capable of taking down Solaris, a cosmic being who could erase whole timelines at 73 quadrillion times the speed of light, and threaten to unravel the whole multiverse. So, how did the hero stop him? Simple. Metal is not the most effective fighter. So he can copy abilities, but he rarely actually thinks to use them, really heavily relying on physical attacks and toying with his food, though he can still pull out the stops if push comes to shove. Sonic and friends able to use this to their advantage, letting Shadow blast him out of Super Neo with a debilitating Chaos Spear. Plus, the Emerald isn't a flawless source of power. Its amp only lasts for a pretty brief window, and this time limit can be drawn out from extra exertion. Once that juice runs out, it's back to basics. Still though, Metal Sonic is an absolute terror. He is a perfect copy against someone left behind as old, slow, and slop. Whether he be a soldier, a schemer, or a tyrant of his own, he'll get rebuilt bigger and better every time by the Doctor, and he'll never truly be gone for good. But however many things he may be, even with the ability to be almost anyone, he will never be Sonic. Yeah, it sucks that Metal can never truly live up to what he was created to be, no matter how hard he tries. But he's managed to surpass the blue blur in countless ways. And that man
Wait a minute!
seem to mind that
I
Metal
was
is Sonic.
maybe back!
Maybe that's enough for the ultimate friend.
Oh, I fucking love that episode of
Metal is in
SpongeBob.
space to show you why he's the greatest soldier of the Eggman Empire and crush you.
I'll crush you!
All living things kneel before your master.
Alright, the combatants are for all possibilities, and so have our fighters. It's time for the death battle!
Alright, so
Roots and bets, as per usual.
rooting and betting on Metal Sonic.
I'm rooting for both betting Metal Sonic, but honestly, I'm gonna root for Metal Sonic because it's funnier.
Look, they made it pretty clear the Emerald Scouts to Chaos who could wipe timelines. Nothing Cell had was threatening that. Like even coming close,
good point.
even at base, they said a universe versus the multiverse. So like I feel Metal Sonic takes this fairly easily. So yeah, both betting on Metal Sonic then.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm not the same for this.
Poor Glass Joe.
Is there no one who can match my pure perfection?
So, this is the broad Garrow who wouldn't shut his mouth about. I planned on letting his little experiment do as it pleased, but then it began threatening my world.
What? The military's tried this.
I like that.
You really
setup.
think this
Yeah.
army of toys can best me?
No.
I take it back. The military has not tried that yet.
Citizens, license
now you've
across
got my
to
interest.
drop a line. You're supposed to relax it out, crap.
Huh?
I've never seen that technique before. Oh, right.
Wait, is this normal? I thought it was gonna be like an animation.
It started out. I think it started out with a setup as an animation, and then it goes to like kind of its usual format where it's like a blog sort of.
Oh, I didn't realize.
So yeah,
I did not realize. I did not realize.
read a bit. Like you go back a bit. It was kind of going fast.
Yeah. All right. Want me to set it to like a
Not quite. There's still voice acting, so that's gonna sound weird.
What about? Yeah, I guess. Okay. Okay. Metal races
Well,
and slicing his
now
claws
you've got
across
my
Cell, but fails to drop blood. Cell quickly lashes out, grabbing Metal's arm and pulling him into a bear hug. He holds Metal in and begins to crush him, but
I've
Metal
never seen that
activates the ring
technique
smart
before.
field, electrocuting Cell and blasting him back. Cell looks up but can't sense any heat from his opponent.
right.
Metal darts back in, but Cell intercepts the approach and drives a fist into him. It's the time cleared. I didn't get it. cleanly blowing away one of the robot's arms.
Oh,
Okay. Metal staggers back, looking up as Cell elbow drops onto him, driving him to the ground. Ooh, I heard the impact on that one. Metal with Cell on top of him flies upwards atop speed, the pair lifting it high into the air. Cell swings his finger past a key beam, slicing metal in half with the same liquid metal from before, mends metal back together, even as the mountain behind him is carved apart. Metal tauntingly waves his finger at Cell. Oh, there's the Sonic.
Oh, that's funny. No.
Metal looks back at the debris, telekinetically lifting up the fallen mountain and hurling at Cell, who responds with more key beams that cube the rock. Not the rock! Dwayne, no! The cubes all fly at Metal, compacting him, but the Badnik overpowers the stone and shatters his way out. Metal flies back into the melee and attempts a few more strikes, and Cell swats him away. Cell tears off a second arm, but is promptly headbutted hard by Metal's spiked face and reels back. The armless Metal delivers a kick, but Cell grabs the leg and spins him around. Okay, I think Metal's about to transform now.
Another challenge.
Cell whips Metal away, and the robot crashes into a ship in the fleet.
Not yet.
Fuck.
Cell turns his attention back to the impact point, but is knocked towards it as another ship plows into his back. He swerves out of the way, cutting through another oncoming ship with a key beam, and then realizes what's happening. The ship's not being thrown at him, but being pulled to opponent. Okay.
So the GoBot finally transformed. No matter, I'll just...
Chaos control.
It's cool.
Yeah. Okay, my voice can get a break. Time resumes. Cell decimated and bloody towards the hurling limbless agony to the ground. The walls around Cell form good as new
It
as a
looks
cough
like
of
there's
blood.
still a chance for some fun.
Yes.
Overload flies him, but just as flight past Cell is enough to blow Cell away in the wind current. Another Cell with missiles fly, but this time Cell's able to intercept and shoot them down. The pair clash back and forth, exchanging strikes. Cell attempts to tear off a wing, but Overlord blasts him back with another volley while he's occupied. As he's dazed, the wing flaps hard, blowing him further upwards. He finds himself encased in a crystal prison as another volley locks on him.
This won't hold me.
He breaks his way out, slicing through the missiles with
body
a special
break.
beam cannon.
Let me fill out the
Special
guest
beam
list.
cannon!
All right,
Cell
kids.
half a dozen Cell
Go
Juniors
play.
that manage taking flight
And
around the
remember,
creator.
don't break your new toy.
The Cell Juniors group up, racing around Overlord and squads with the Titanic robot back his wings and knock him away. The trio
That's my
Cell
I'm quite
tearing
confident in
plates
my
off,
speed.
Overlord enters another salvo of missing Cell, who outpaces them at the sky as he charges a Kamehameha.
I'm quite confident in my speed, you know.
The Juniors finally leaving Metal's vision. Overlord looks down in time to just see the colossal pulse tearing through his chest, blasting a hole through his outer plating. Cell then flies in himself. Brother, this is going by so fast.
I told you should probably pause this part.
I'm trying to speed read.
You get used to it. You get used to it, man.
Well, it looks like my public speaking class earlier this year wasn't for nothing.
I suppose.
Yeah, good thing. Suddenly I'm glad I had water instead of the usual tea.
Yeah.
Alright, Cell then flies himself like a battering ram, slamming all the way through Overlord as Metal's light begins to flicker as he falls from the sky. Alright, probably Super Neo coming out next. I think I'm gonna take a break from reading as it's pictures next.
I wonder what that was about.
Keiko biodata. Piccolo biodata. Vegeta bio. Son Goku. Perfect Cell biodata. Successfully copied.
A golden streak speeds up from the clouds. Super Neo Metal Sonic tearing through Cell with a terrific swipe of his claws, Jet splitting the android in two as the Cell Juniors are blown away just from the shockwave. The halves promptly form back together with Cell
form.
desperately catching his breath.
No matter. I'll crush it like all the rest.
I like that gusto. Metal drives a fist clean through Cell's chest. He said the thing again! Metal takes his fist to the side, once more tearing the android in half. He grabs onto the top half, ripping into it as the legs fall down. As the legs fall, they sprout a new torso, and
You
the
got
one
the
Metal
wrong
is
half,
holding goes
idiots.
limp. Cell rushes in to deliver a punch, but Metal, without turning, blocks with a back shield. The black shield. Metal grabs on the Cell like the android had before him and whips him up through the air. Out of the hold up. Out of the atmosphere of space, and it takes off after him. Super Neo delivers a devastating beatdown, launching himself further and further, using himself like a rocket to plow Cell into the moon.
No.
Metal stands up on top of Cell's foot, pressing down into the foe chest, and he predates the blood and blasting to fry the biohunter. Cell pulls entry and blasts his own Super Neo's chest, and manages to shove him off as battle begins to rapidly storm towards the enemy. Metal hesitates on his kill move, considering his options.
One touch, and your whole planet gets wiped off the galactic map. If I'm going down, then you're coming with me. Thank you for the perfect fight! Oh, you cheeky little bitch.
The moon explodes and Metal left adrift where it used to be. Target. Oh.
Neutralize.
Don't be so full of yourself.
This is
Metal races him, but Cell dodges out of the way.
You know all
The pair
my
clash out
techniques,
space, Cell failing to
but
damage
that
Metal,
also
but Metal
means
failing to
I
hit
know all
Cell at
your
all.
techniques. Strange,
Both
isn't
fighters
it?
stare each other down. Metal can
We
feel power.
end, I know all of your techniques.
Metal can feel his power reserves dwindling.
Strange, isn't it? We end this.
Affirmative.
Metal something doing a Kamehameha is something I never knew I needed.
This is impressive.
Yeah, it looks nice. The blast collides, struggling for dominance in the middle. Come on, Metal. Metal puts everything he has into it, and the last end of the Emerald's belting out as he pushes back Cells. The android's beam diminishing small and small until Metal tears through the spot Cell was. Okay, is that it?
Well, you actually fell for it.
Oh no. Metal whips around, but a casual energy blast from Cell blows him away. Metal reforming using Cell's and regenerating back into his basic state.
Well then, allow me to fix that little error. You already know everything I can do, so you must know what comes next. Take solace, Prince Vegeta.
Cell stretches
Your
out a
useless
palm.
technique will finally be worth something. Big Bang, attack! Another would-be challenger defeated.
Wait, what?
Just you wait, Son Goku. You're next.
KO!
Oh, damn! I was not expecting that.
I thought
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I kind of knew that was going to happen because when I went on Twitter by accident, like, a lot of the death battle community was talking about it, and they said it was controversial as fuck, which, granted, it's a Dragon Ball character, so that could go either way, but considering I know Metal Sonic is the agreed-upon winner, I kind of figured he lost. But you know what? I ain't no bitch. I ain't gonna pick Cell just because I had outsider info.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess the whole threat to the universe thing could have pushed it in his favor, but I guess there's also the Chaos Emerald.
I'm gonna need.
Yeah, we'll see that. We'll see that what the explanation is. I probably am still gonna disagree on the verdict, but
oh, I disagree. I think at bare I think getting Cell to like Universal is already a stretch.
even if you count Universal, given like the whole multiversal thing, like yeah, that's like not even Universal Cell can save him.
Yeah, like literally with what we saw just from Bowser versus Eggman, like Cell is just like that insignificant to him. Okay, let's play. My voice is dead from that.
thought for sure Metal had this. He had more adjectives and everything. I admit, this surprised even us. Metal Sonic held clear leads in power no matter how you looked at it. Sure, Cell could blow away the solar system, even the galaxy, but the Chaos Emeralds are contended with power that threatens several realities. It's easy to assume that'd be more than enough for Metal to blow Cell away, but raw strength isn't everything, and the full picture paints a different outcome. For starters, it's important to remember Metal only has access to that level of power when using Super Neo. Even Overlord doesn't really compare. This would limit Metal to a strict time limit, a restriction Cell doesn't have. Combine that with the fact that Super Neo and Cell are working at decently similar levels of speed, with Super Neo only being about 4 times faster, and it raises the question of if Metal will be able to properly capitalize on this time. Yeah, without that level of power, Metal's weaker forms would be taken out by Cell. So, the question became, would Super Neo be able to take down Cell before time ran out? The answer is both yes and no. See, Cell's regen would make it nigh impossible for anything Metal did to stick, but Metal did have one way around this, copying Cell and firing his own Kamehameha right back at him, something which we know would kill Cell for good. Unfortunately, Metal has a tendency to heavily favor going for brute force, rarely actually employing copied abilities, a weakness that's caused him to fumble in these kind of situations before. So he'd likely figure it out eventually, but by that point it's highly likely Cell's Zenkai boost would have gotten that previously slightly slower speed to the point he could easily play keep away and dodge anything Metal threw at him, wearing him out. Even a single Zenkai boost would flip the speed gap on its head and then some. Effectively, Metal would have a limited opportunity to kill Cell, and would very likely inadvertently make his opponent fast enough to dodge him before realizing what has to be done. Sure, Overlord could use Chaos Control to drag out the fight, but it doesn't really help Metal win, and as we've said, Super Neo is the only form able to blow Cell away here. Metal could definitely win if he played optimally, but his preference for physical attacks means Cell's regen just wouldn't be something he'd immediately be able to counter, letting the android get faster and faster until it's too late for Metal and Super Neo runs dry. Cell, meanwhile, can keep going as long as he needs to, and would be capable of playing keep away from Super Neo, especially with things like teleportation and Cell Juniors to keep Metal further occupied. And, while Metal could copy Cell's generation and Zenkai boost for himself, he couldn't benefit from them the same way Cell could, with Super Neo being invincible, and his other forms just not stacking up. Metal Sonic had overwhelming power, but Cell...
Stronger than Neo and Overlord, can reliably stall out Super Neo. I disagree with that.
I do disagree about him being stronger than Overlord, given it can keep up with Supersonic.
Yeah, I was about
I simply think that Metal Overlord would be enough to take out Cell, in my opinion.
Could regenerate from motion.
I disagree with the verdict, but I can see where it's coming from.
I can see the lot. Honestly, I disagree. Like, I feel
I agree to disagree with the verdict. Honestly,
the weakness they gave Metal about him not using his abilities, that's like that goes against like everything I've ever learned in Versus, where you take characters at their best. Like, I mean,
I guess sometimes mindsets can be like used as a way to kind of decipher a closer fight, but given the gap between Cell and Metal Sonic in terms of power, I don't think that applies here as much.
Well, consider they said Chaos Control wouldn't help him, that it literally just stops time. How would that not help?
Like, that would buy him the perfect amount of time to charge a Kamehameha, in my opinion.
Yeah, or a Chaos Blast and just completely annihilate Cell.
I don't think he has Shadow's Chaos Blast. Well, he might have it since he never uses it.
I mean,
really.
They mentioned in the top part, like one of the black screens. So that's just where I was going.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I disagree with this. I disagree with this.
Still a great fight, in my opinion, though.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I really like that beginning. I really like that beginning.
Fights where I disagree with the verdict. I'm kind of iffy on Bardock versus Omni-Man, but I still think it was a great fight.
Cell's ever-increasing prowess, terrifying regeneration, and repertoire of technique let the android snag a win once his foe's batteries ran out. The robotic doppelganger wanted to prove his mettle, but ended up getting put through hell in a cell. The winner is Perfect Cell. Oh god damn it, they got the moon again!
All right. Yeah, that was really good. That was really good.
Yeah.
You know, honestly.
Oh yeah. Okay, so the research. I actually know some of these people. So yeah, there are definitely some people. Well, besides Noah working on it, but yeah, it's actually really impressive.
Yeah, Origin voice Cell. That's really cool.
Oh hey, I actually know. Who voiced Metal Sonic too.
I don't.
She's a friend.
Oh, but yeah, that was really good. Again, honestly, not a big fan of having to kill my voice reading like 1,000 words per minute, but I really did. I think the research they did was honestly some of the best I've seen.
Like, it was very impressive.
Like the analysis segments, the analysis segments, I should say. That was very well put together. Very well put together, especially for a fan project. Honestly, I would love to see this show get like slightly more budget so they can actually like make full animations.
They have been doing this for like stuff like the finisher and the intro since Chaos versus Vortec, I believe. But yeah, I could see this becoming more frequent. The intro and the finisher, at least. I know the finisher to Mando versus Courier was also animated.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really well put together. I really hope this works out for them, and I hope it keeps going up. And honestly, I would honestly like to see it turn into something other than just like, oh, this is like a fan parody of Death Battle. I think they could honestly turn this into their own thing if they get like enough budget. And I would love to see that for them, honestly.
Yeah, it's got its own charm. It's got its own charm. There's actually a lot. Actually, this one actually gave a really good argument for the heavily debated Doomsday versus SCP-682, in my opinion. I'm not gonna say the verdict, obviously, but it's really interesting. Highly recommend that one after this.
Maybe. All right, well then, I think that'll do it for this episode. I said all I had to say.
There's a next time.
Oh shit. I guess I could have assumed that, honestly.
For your video.
I'm not gonna lie though, everything you just said cut out, so
I was saying it is.
Fuck!
You're gonna have to mute it because I remember this song was everywhere in the 2010s.
Yeah, that's alright. Yep. Okay, yeah, so that was probably muted then. Well then. Alright, that's gonna be a neat fun time. Totally not gonna burn any fans down.
That one fucking Mouse 8 song over it, that this song is copyrighted. I must replace it.
Send me a link to that. I'll put it in. Bet.
Oh, dude, it's yeah.
All right. But with that, that'll do it for this episode. Like, comment, subscribe to myself and the original video, which will be in the description as always. And I will see you all in the next video. See ya!